Are you using video in your social media marketing strategy right now? Are you avoiding using video in your social media marketing strategy right now? Because if you're avoiding it or not using it enough, well, then you're potentially missing out on so many opportunities, especially if you're on LinkedIn, right? So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about how you can use video for maximum impact. I'm going to share a video strategy that really works. I even have my phone out so I can show you how I take these videos and so that you can do the exact same thing for your business, and it just makes it so easy. It doesn't need to be hard. Maybe right now you're overcomplicating video. Maybe right now you're afraid to use video. But let me tell you, you should be using video if you're a coach, if you're a consultant or a service provider, and you want more visibility and you want to build trust and familiarity with your clients so that they potentially want to work with you. Well, then this is why you need to be leveraging video. Never mind what the algorithm is doing on LinkedIn right now. So if you're struggling with impressions on LinkedIn, video is the direction to go in. And what kind of videos work? Well, face to camera videos work. I'm talking anything that's 10 up to about 45 seconds. That's the optimal length of time for video cameras. And face to camera is literally me talking to you like I am right here, right now, live, but doing it in portrait mode on your phone. So it's that upright version as opposed to horizontal, like you're seeing me here on your desktop right now. And on LinkedIn, when you're watching me on your phone, gosh, I can't even think what way it looks like when you see somebody on your phone on LinkedIn on live, because I'm always on my desktop during these. So I don't even know. I'm having a brain freeze. But the types of videos that work are those face to camera ones that are thought leadership, but ideally thought leadership rants, right? Things that are more bolder or that are a little bit controversial or contrarian or that just go against what everybody else freaking thinks. So it's not same old, same old. Other things that work really well are behind the scenes. People are so fucking nosy that they want to see what you are doing behind the scenes in your business, in your life, what's working for you. They want to see what your processes are. They want to know who your clients are, what your clients' wins were. They want to know what you learned, what got you to where you are today. People want to know this shit. It's really valuable to them. And whilst you might think your journey is boring or your behind the scenes is boring, I'm telling you, there are people out there who would have their popcorn out ready to lap up whatever you dish out at them. Other things that work really well are micro case studies. So a success story that you share in under 60 seconds. So for example, my client went from X to Y, and here's the background behind it. What works really well for video are really good storytelling hooks. So a personal experience tied to a business insight. They're one of my favorites. And I like to watch those and consume them as well. So, what you might consider is what kind of video do you like to consume and how might you adapt that and apply that for your audience? A lot of people on LinkedIn, they create video, and what the types of video they create, they put cover images on them. They have different intros and outros. Like, they just make it so freaking complicated, but it doesn't need to be complicated. I'm going to show you the simplest way that you can create videos fast and on repeat. Okay, so the first thing I want you to know with videos, how often should you post video? And I'm going to say at least twice a week to 3 times a week for maximum impact and to really leverage LinkedIn's algorithm. Now, what I want you to know about that is that one of the questions I get asked the most about LinkedIn is how often should I post per week? And people think that they should post 2 to 3 times per week for maximum impact on LinkedIn. That's horseshit, right? I believe that posting 2 to 3 times per week is relevant if you have a company page, because very few people engage on company pages anyway. But if you have a personal page and a personal brand, oh my gosh, I would say post as often as you can. And if that's 7 times a week and you can remain consistent at 7 times a week, well, that's your frequency. It's not 2 to 3 times per week. But seriously, when I show you how easy it is to do the videos, you may be ramping up your content. Like some of the LinkedIn influencers, they post as many as 14 times a week. I vary. Anything from 5 up to 8 times a week is what I usually post because I do this live every Friday and I usually have a post on the Friday as well. So for me, it's like 7 to 8 times a week. Sometimes I take a day off, I might miss a day, or maybe I'm not organized enough to have my content ready to go. But all this week in the LinkedIn Visibility Challenge, I've been talking about consistency, I've been talking about video, I've been talking about getting out your own way when it comes to creating videos. And I've been sharing why it's worthwhile doing video on LinkedIn right now. And one of the main things is that LinkedIn right now, and you might have spotted this, when you open the app on your phone, one of the things that you're seeing first very often on your LinkedIn feed is video. And it's not just a small video, it's taken up your whole screen. They're literally making it the whole size of your screen. So here's what I want you to not do. And I've kind of touched on one or two of these already. But one is, I don't want you to create overly produced corporate style videos because people will just simply scroll past them. They won't find that interesting. People are more interested in that behind the scenes stuff or you going off in a rant and hearing what you have to say. Okay. So just bear that in mind. And know this as well. The overly produced stuff takes so much freaking time to create, knowing that people are just going to scroll by it. Why would you waste your time creating it? Okay, I'm just going to let that sit there with you. The second thing to not do is when you start your videos on LinkedIn, don't start off with, hey, just checking in. Dive straight into something like a question. I do most weeks here on the live. I'm like, are you creating video for LinkedIn right now? Was how I started off. I wasn't like, hey, I'm Deirdre. Happy Friday. We're here again. Nobody's interested in that. I'm wasting words on people if I start talking about that. And if you have only 30 seconds on average to capture somebody's attention with your video, you want to make sure that you do it really effectively. And actually, let me tell you, I have a stat on this saved to my desktop. Let me see, where is it? It's the number of seconds that you have to capture people's attention with different types of content. Let me find what it is. It's really interesting. But short form video, you have 3 seconds. 3 seconds. So if you waste it with, hey, I'm just checking in, you've lost people. They'll be gone. Scroll on, move on, boring. Okay, the third thing is if you're going to share short form videos, and I'm talking like real type things, reels as in shorts on YouTube, TikTok videos, Instagram reels, which can be any length, but if you're using them and you're selling within them, people are going to move on. So in my experience, what I found short form videos to be exceptionally good at is getting more eyeballs on your content and having a call to action that's not risk, that doesn't have risk associated with it. And what I mean by that is not something where you're asking people to buy. What the types of short form videos I find work really well are ones where you'll say, follow me or save this or comment the word, that kind of thing. Those ones work exceptionally well because people don't perceive there to be any risk in doing that. And when there's no or low risk, they're more inclined to take action. Doesn't that make sense? Kind of does. It's like buyer psychology, I reckon. Okay. So now if you're like, right, Deirdre, you've convinced me why videos are important. Let's discuss the preparation that you need to do before going into them. So first off, I think step one with the preparation is knowing overall what your message is. And then from knowing your message, knowing your clients, knowing your unique value proposition, and knowing your your offer, excuse me. So knowing your offer, your unique value proposition, your niche or your clients, and your overall message. Once you're clear on those four things, then the next thing is creating content pillars around that. So, for example, if you are a sales coach, maybe one of your content pillars might be around your expertise and closing techniques in a sales conversation or preparation for a sales call, overcoming client objectives, pricing strategies, that sort of stuff. If you're a business consultant, for example, a content pillar related to your expertise might be scaling mistakes, mindset shifts, or it could be something else to do with team and leadership, that sort of thing as well, right? So come up with your different types of content pillars. And one of them, I believe, should be your expertise, and not as in all about you and what makes you an expert per se, but more about the processes that you take clients through, the frameworks that you take clients through, quite simply, the work that you do with clients. That should be one of your core content pillars. Okay, so come up with roughly 3 to 5 content pillars. And it's going to be really easy once you're clear on the 4 things: your niche, your unique value proposition, your offer, and your overall message. So the second thing is to write a simple script. So what I see a lot of people do is they come on and they do short form videos and they waffle. Okay. Now this live is a long form video. If I'm waffling, that's a-okay. Let me know what you think in the comments. Am I waffling? I have points here in front of me to help me keep on track. But the idea is with a long form video, there's more flexibility in a long form video to maybe weave in extra stories as you're talking. But with short form video, the idea is that it's snappy, that it's really quick like that. If it's not really quick like that, what could potentially happen is that you lose clients before you even get started, because you're talking about, hey, da 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 da, right? Hey, just checking in. Hey, it's Deirdre. Nobody gives a shit. Okay. So what you want to do is make it really simple. And for any type of content that you create, there's just 3 sections in it. There's only 3. The first section is the hook. And that is the bit that grabs somebody's attention. And for short form video, like I said, you've got 3 seconds. That's it. 3 seconds to grab somebody's attention. So what you say in that first opening line is the most important thing you'll say in the whole video. Okay? The second part of your script should be the value. That's the meat in the middle, if you like, right? And it's the thing where maybe you're going to deliver some actionable insights, or share a story of transformation, or share something that's going to interest people, educate them, tell them a little bit more about you and your business, something that relates to something that really ultimately provides value. And again, keep it snappy. When you write it out, it makes it easier. And the third part, your call to action. Okay, a lot of people forget to include a call to action on their videos. A lot of people forget to include calls to action on their content. But every bit of content that you create, before you even start to create it, ideally what it will do is it'll be linked to what your business goals are right now. And whether that's trying to increase visibility and awareness about your brand, whether it's trying to increase engagement for your brand, or if you're in conversion mode and you're trying to sell. Okay, so it might be you have a campaign on right now, the doors to your program, product, or service are open right now, just like Business Accelerator is right now. What you can do is you can promote it at the end with your call to action. And that should be the case when you're thinking about, okay, I'm going to create content from Monday to Friday next week. Why am I creating the content? It starts with why. And once you know why, that can help you shape what the hook is going to be, what the value is going to be, and it can help make that call to action specifically related to the thing that aligns with your business goals. Okay, makes sense? The idea is that everything that you do is intentional and intertwined so that your business, your marketing, and everything is flowing in the one direction, and that's upwards for you. So the next thing is when you go to record it, use natural light or ring light. So right now I'm sitting in my office. I only have natural light on. I don't have any ring lights. I don't have any overhead lights or anything like that. Then my lighting is quite good. But if it was darker or in the evening, or if I was in a different position in my office, I might use a ring light. So I have a couple of things that look like this. If you've not seen these, you can buy them on Amazon for a very reasonable price. I have a little ring light, one that's like a rubber suction thing, and it just sits on my desk for extra lighting, because the lighting where I am in my office is quite poor. And ideally, what you want to do is keep your phone at eye level, no weird angles. And on most phones, I know I've set this up on my iPhone, I have it set so that I can see a grid, okay? And you can do this with the settings on your phone as well. You won't be able to see this now if I turn this on, but actually, no, you won't. All you'll be able to see is the mess on my desk, so I won't show you that just yet. But the idea being is that you can create a grid. Actually, here's a way that I can share it with you. Oh, I've just had an idea. I'm going to share my phone screen today. Let's see, does this work? One second, I'm just doing a live experiment here. Yes, here we go, right? So right there on my phone screen, you can see that I have this grid. So ideally, you're in that top box in the middle, and in the one where you see the plus sign in the very center, ideally your eyes will line up with the line, not the where the plus sign is, but the line above that. That's where you want your eyes to be in the box. So when you have your phone turned on and you have it reversed, so it's in portrait mode or whatever, looking at you, or in video or photo mode, if you're going to do it that way, or you can turn it the other way around. Ideally, you want to have it where your eyes line up with that, okay? And you want your eyes to be level. You don't want it to be this, whichever way I turn around. You don't take videos of yourself for short form reels with your phone in landscape mode. They should be in portrait mode like this, okay? And a lot of people make this mistake as well. I see it all the time. And because I'm aware of it now, I mean, I used to do these things myself too. It's to look into the lens and not look at yourself. Okay. And that's hard. It's hard to do it. Even when I'm talking to you live like this, I'm like, there's nobody else here in the room. And I'm just trying to look straight down the camera at you and into your lovely eyes on the receiving end of my LinkedIn Live today. But it's hard not to look away at my notes or be like, because I'm chatting over here, looking out my window and seeing what the day is like. But when you're doing a short video, so many people, and I see it particularly on Instagram stories, if you hang out over there a little bit, no judgment from me, but on Insta stories, very often what I see is that people are looking at themselves on the screen instead of looking into the camera. And so it actually looks like they're looking down. But from an impact perspective, it's way more impactful if somebody is looking you dead in the eye. And even when it's on camera like Zoom, or if it's on a LinkedIn Live, or it's a short form story, reel, anything like that, look into the lens as much as you can. Now, if you speak really quickly, some people tell me I speak quickly, but then when I listen back to myself, I'm like, why am I speaking so slowly? And I speed myself up. Let me know. Am I fast or slow when I talk? Let me know. Type into the chat. um, but yeah, like on my Master Your Business podcast, I listen back sometimes, not often, very rarely, in fact, maybe once. When I listen back, I'm like, oh my God, why am I speaking so slowly? Speed it up. I listen to everything on 1.5 speed. But if you're somebody who speaks quickly and people tell you that you speak quickly, then I would encourage you to slow down ever so slightly so that people can interpret and understand what you're saying as you're saying it. Sometimes, if you speak too quickly and it's something that's very short and packed together, what will happen is you will create cognitive dissonance. And basically, what that means is you give people so much information in one chunk. It's like reading an incredibly long paragraph and going, what did I just read? Because it's complex. And that's what can happen when something comes at you very quickly if you're a fast speaker. So if you get feedback that you speak quickly, slow it down ever so slightly, just so it is clear. Okay? Right, so that is your recording and will help you record with confidence. Now, if you're a lady and you're watching this live, and what I would say to you is you can use filters on your phone, but you probably don't need them. And nobody cares whether you have your hair or your makeup done. You don't need to look perfectly polished every time you show up on LinkedIn or every time you show up on camera for that matter. People love imperfect because everybody is imperfect. There is nobody in the world who's perfect. And trying to position yourself as one or create a standard for yourself where you feel you need to be perfect is actually just creating an unrealistic expectation from yourself that you're going to end up having all of this inner noise and inner chatter showing up that will stop you getting visible. And in terms of whether people want to hear what you have to say, well, think about this. If you go back and talk about things that are different or interesting or share a different perspective, people are interested in that. They don't want to hear the same old stuff that everybody is saying. And so once you think about where your ideal client's at, what are they looking for, what is going to make them pay attention, well, then that's where you go with it. Now, during this week in the LinkedIn Visibility Challenge, I won't be doing another one of them, maybe until the end of the year. They're so much fun, but there's a lot of work goes into preparing them behind the scenes. And this week, I gave people templates to create videos. Excuse me. And the templates are so short and sweet that it just makes creating your template super easy. Creating your video and your script super easy, rather. So in terms of doing that, I'm going to share an example with you of how to literally create this video and share it in the easiest possible way. I'm going to record my video live while we're doing this and share my screen and show you my exact method. Okay, are you ready? Get your popcorn. Okay, let me share my screen. I'm like, it's probably all going to go horribly wrong, but let's give it a whirl. Let's see. Share screen. No, nothing happening yet. Let's try now. Here we go. Okay. Full disclosure, I use an app that stops me from being on my phone during the day. Why does it say 9:41? That's so weird. Okay, leave early. And now I'm going to go to Instagram. So there's two ways that I do this, okay? The first way actually is just with my camera. So let me open my camera app. Okay, and here I am. I'm going straight into video, get the hair ready. Oh, it looks so weird because I can see myself on both screens now. Okay, I'm going to turn off so I can't see you. Well, basically, what we're going to do is start with a hook, okay? So I have my hook prepared, and here's how I'm going to do it, okay? I'm going to literally share this to LinkedIn next week, so I'm preparing now. So my eyes, right? Get my eyes lined up with this, with the line, see? Okay, I'm looking into the lens right here. And what do I want to say? I have this prepared. Okay, I believe vague messaging is the fastest way to be ignored. That's what I'm going to say. Right, I'm going to hit record. I'm going to give it a second to start recording, and then I'm going to record. My kids call this the Gen X recording way, or I don't know what they call it, but they tease me for doing this. But there's a reason, believe me. I believe vague messaging is the fastest way to be ignored. I'm all croaky. You've got to do that again, right? I believe vague messaging is the fastest way to be ignored. I was bringing the energy that time. It was a little bit better. Okay. Right. Now, next one I'm going to do. Your story isn't just what you do, it's why people choose you. I'm going to move. Your story isn't just what you do, it's why people choose you. Okay. I'm moving for interest. That's why. Because what I want to happen is I want people to be like, oh, what's going on? It's a little bit different. So let me see. I'm doing this in batches because I can't remember long stuff anymore. It's not like learning poetry in school. Clarity creates clients. If your messaging isn't crystal clear, your ideal clients will scroll right on by. Okay, so I'm stopping every time I'm finished. Think about your own messaging. Does it make people stop and think, I need this? Okay. I'm thinking now, I haven't scripted this bit, so I'm going to say this off the cuff. There are only 7 things that you need to talk about in your messaging for it to be super clear. What your client wants, the problem they have, why you're the best person to solve the problem, your plan to solve the problem, your call to action, what success looks like, and what failure looks like. Again, I'm just thinking. Sorry, I keep forgetting you're here with me live. This is exactly how I do it when I'm like, I've scripted this, I'm going to change it a bit. And I've used ChatGPT. I'm not going to pretend I haven't. Okay, so I'm like, I'm not liking what ChatGPT has said, which is why I'm totally going off the cuff. And then I'm going to say, follow me for more no BS marketing tips. And that's it, okay? So that's all my videos created. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Instagram. I'm going to press the plus button down in the bottom here in Instagram, and I'm going to go to Reel. I'm going to start new video, and here's all my little videos, okay? So I'm going to select them all. 8 videos. Next, I'm going to skip the music because what happens is when I download...
I believe vague messaging is the fastest way to be ignored. I believe...
Oh, it won't stop. Like, shut up, Deirdre. The idea is that when you have sound on Instagram and you download it for copywriting reasons or legal infringements or whatever, you can't download the music with it. So I don't want music because it's me as a talking head anyway. So it's much better off if I just have my talking head and get rid of the stuff. Okay, now we're going to edit. So I think I did the intro twice. So we're going to listen back to this.
I believe vague messaging is the fastest way to be ignored. I believe vague messaging is the...
Okay, so the second one has got way more energy. I'm going to delete the first one, discard. Okay, now let's see. Okay, so I'm ready to start speaking.
I believe...
Right about there. So here I am in Instagram. I'm going to drag it over with my finger. So I'm dragging over the video to the right. And I'm going to trim the video. So split. And then this first bit, I'm going to delete. So that makes it straight into my video.
Vague messaging is the fastest...
Oh, crap. I've gone too far. So I'm going to do it this way this time. Okay, so let me just show you. See that yellow thing? You can literally drag that over. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, ready?
I believe vague...
So there's still too much of a gap before I start talking. This is what my kids tease me over. Okay, so just there. It's only like a micro nanosecond.
I believe vague messaging is the fastest way to be ignored.
Okay. That's good. It stops right at the end and straight into the next section. Now, do you hear me doing the lip smacking? I always do that. I don't even realize I'm doing it. So I'm going to get rid of that. And just by cutting the video so it goes straight into the next bit.
To be ignored. Your story isn't just what you do, it's why people choose you.
Okay, great. Stopped at the right place. Now I'm going to drag it over and trim this one.
Clarity creates clients.
Okay, that's perfect. I always know that lip smacking sound is ideal. Oh, it was a bit slow getting going with this one, was I?
If your messaging isn't crystal clear, your ideal clients will scroll right on by. There are only 7 things that you need to talk about in your messaging for it to be super clear.
Oh God, you can hear me swallowing and everything.
What your client wants, the problem they have, why you're the best person to solve the problem, your plan to solve the problem, your call to action, what success looks like and what failure looks like.
Okay, I'm going to cut it right there.
Follow.
And trim about there.
Failure looks like. Follow me for more no BS marketing tips.
The end. Okay, so You can see on the screen, that's 36 seconds long, okay? It's a little bit longer than I'd like, but it's pretty good. So here's what I do next. See the AA on the bottom left in the screen? You can do that. What that will do is give you like a title. But what I'm going to press is the little button beside that, this smiley face in the square. When I press the smiley face in the square, I'm going to then press captions. And then I'm going to choose a caption format that I use consistently for my brand. And the idea being that when you create a caption form and when you create your caption, try and stick to the format, the same one every single time, because that format becomes synonymous with your brand. Okay, so this is the one specifically that I use. And on Instagram, see, they have this grid in Instagram. If I scroll down, it shows me a blue line. So it's indicating to me, first off, that's centered, and the line towards the bottom, the white line at the bottom, that's where to have it on the screen, so that if you go below that, it might not be seen in the grid. Okay, so I'm going to just
I believe
play.
vague messaging is the fastest way to be ignored. Your story isn't just what you do, it's why people choose you.
Okay, now I actually very rarely will read the captions after I've written them. I'm going to assume that my diction was sufficiently okay that Instagram can pick up what it was that I was saying. And then all I need to do now is scroll over to the very right-hand side with these icons on the bottom and press the download symbol at the end. And once I press that, after sometimes a second or two, sometimes nearly a minute, it will download the video to my feed, to my photos album and my videos album on my phone. So simple, right? I'm going to show you how then you upload it to LinkedIn. It's so easy. So send me a message. I can't see what you're saying or commenting or typing or questions you're asking. If I'm missing anything in the live right now, I will respond to it later after today's LinkedIn Visibility Challenge. Okay, so that's saved. Now, what I usually do is I save it as draft until it's scheduled on LinkedIn and gone out on LinkedIn. So then I come back to LinkedIn. I still don't know why my phone is saying it's 9:41. What? That's just nuts. Okay, and I go create new post. I press the thing there. Now it's got all of those previous videos, but it's
I believe
also
vague
got
messaging is
the
the
one
fastest way to
we've
be
just
ignored.
created.
Your story isn't just.
Whoops. Now I want to go back actually, and I'll show you why. So because it's playing, I can't stop
Vague
it.
messaging is the fastest way to be ignored.
It's this
Your
bit.
story isn't just what you do,
The
it's
CC
why people
captions.
choose you.
Stop talking.
Clarity
Deirdre.
creates clients.
Okay, I want to
If
turn
your
off those
messaging
captions.
isn't crystal clear, you're.
Oh, thank God. I was trying to turn off those captions. And the reason I wanted to turn off the captions is because I've already got a caption. Now, if you don't want to add a caption from Instagram, you can just add the LinkedIn captions and that's enough. So I don't want it to be added automatically here. And that's why I've taken it off. So the next thing you want to do is you want to add your caption. So whatever you're going to talk about in here, right? And once you've done with that, you can either schedule your post or you can post it directly. So to schedule it, press the clock up in the top section, select your date and time, and go from there. I'm just randomly picking things and then just press schedule. And that's it. Done. Right? Not hard. Not hard at all. The hardest part is knowing what are you going to say and how can you get it all out in the shortest space of time. Editing it on Instagram, that whole thing just took minutes, if even. And then it's writing your post. But if you've thought before about what you're going to say, it makes it so much easier to show up online. Now, in Business Accelerator, these are the exact types of things that I take people through, but I have 40 templates that people who are joining Business Accelerator will get right now to create really short form videos and reels like the one I've just created. In fact, the one I've just created came from one of the templates that I've used. Now, I use ChatGPT to help me create it, and I encourage my clients to use ChatGPT and even show them how with some of the different prompts that we provide in Business Accelerator. But the doors are open right now. If you're interested, please reach out to me directly please reach out to me directly here on LinkedIn. I'd be delighted to talk to you about Business Accelerator and see if it's a good fit for you and your business and where you're at right now. Okay, so let's see, what else did I want to share with you that I thought was important related to video? I think the main thing is it's not as scary as it looks, and you can absolutely do it. Yes, another one is there's a thing called B-roll, and you can absolutely use B-roll too. Now, I didn't know what B-roll was until about 18 months ago. So if you were like me, don't worry if you've never heard about what it is. I wasn't a social media expert before I started my business, and I'm sure you weren't either. So what B-roll is, it's those videos where somebody is in the video and there's just text over them, or they're out for a walk, or they're pouring a coffee, or they're watching the scenery, or it's the outside of a plane, any of those things. It's where there's nobody physically speaking in the video. And that with text over it is B-roll. And it probably would have been B-roll is the type of footage that was taken in Hollywood before the cameras before the director called action or whatever. That type of content can be really effective as well. So I would encourage you to consider how could you incorporate that into your messaging, into your videos as well. Let me see, I have lost my, here we go. I had lost my bullet points so that I don't go off on too much of a tangent talking today. So let me see, a couple of other things you could do is with your videos is like when you are creating the videos, you can repurpose them, you can share them to other platforms as well if you wanted to. But just what I would encourage you to do too is to look at some of your competitors' posts or some influencers in your industries and in your industry and look at the types of videos that they're creating. It's not for you to copy them, it's to model them. What are they doing that's working, or that you perceive that they're doing that's working? And how could you take elements of that and apply it so that it might work for you in your business? And really, ultimately, with marketing, the one thing I'll say is yes, you're going to have to step out your comfort zone if this is new to you, but also it's an experiment. You've got to test it and see if it works. And things are changing so fast for all of us in our daily lives, in the world beyond, and with marketing and algorithms and LinkedIn. And right now, this is a strategy that works. And to go back to my very first point, if you're not leveraging it or you're not using it, you're missing a trick. So don't miss out. Be sure to go and get started. And I'm going to encourage you to take action right now. I want you to go and share your first or your next short form video this week. Do it today. Do it over the weekend. It's a long weekend, so you absolutely can. Well, long weekend in Ireland anyway, but you absolutely can. Pick one of your content pillars, go with your expertise one if that's the easiest for you to talk about. Script something that should take about 30 seconds and just post it. Don't worry. Don't worry about it being corporate or professional or looking so super polished. And then if you're after even watching this, if you're still struggling, if you don't know the 4 things that I mentioned, your niche, your unique value proposition, your offer, or your overall core message, well, then reach out to me, because that's what Business Accelerator helps you with and helps you get the traction to accelerate the success in your business. So once you've posted your video, which is going to give you an unfair advantage on LinkedIn, let me just add, particularly from an eyeballs perspective on your content, it is absolutely worthwhile. And please tag me on it or tag me in your comments or something like that, and I'll come over and have a look at it and engage on it for you so you get a bit of traction too. And I think let me just say, if you don't leverage video right now, I think in 6 months' time, you'll be looking back and regretting it. And I think if you're not clear on those 4 things I mentioned, I think the same will apply in Business Accelerator. It's a 6-month program, and in 6 months' time, you'll be looking back going, why didn't I join it that day where I listened to Deirdre and watched her record a video? So there you go, folks. Thank you so much for joining me live today. I'll be back next week at the same time, 1 p.m. GMT. And we will be talking about something else to do with LinkedIn that will help you grow and succeed in your business. So we will be back next week, same time, same place. So hopefully see you in my DMs. And if not, I'll definitely see you on LinkedIn. Bye for now.